agree with Trump. So
On what though? What?
I just don't.
Now this was a rather interesting conversation, and I'm hesitating to call it a debate, and the only reason why is because both parties involved were refusing to call it a debate. Now you obviously know Charlie Kirk, how talented of a speaker he is, and he's a godly man who goes all over America preaching to college kids. But in this particular conversation, as I stated, Charlie Kirk manages to catch on camera somebody who is a great example of what happens when you let the lamestream media get to your brain. It causes you to have a thing called Trump derangement syndrome. But in this case, she's only showing minor symptoms. Not like the major TDS where the liberals will be screaming into their cameras while in the car.
Maybe we can talk about it later!
Now, this one's a great example of a lot of things, just like what I said about lamestream media and how much it brainwashes people, but it's also a good example of what I personally think is a pretty big weakness of the Make America Great Again movement. One that even Charlie Kirk himself was criticizing on camera. But before we jump into this commentary, make sure you subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, and the notification bell down below in order to help us exposing Democrats even more. Now let's take a look at what this walking stereotype of a liberal had to say.
I don't really have a specific question. What is something that you like to debate about?
Anything? What's on your mind? I want to make it more fair for you. I'm not here to pick debates. I'm here to try to teach. So, what do you tend to be more conservative or liberal?
More liberal.
Okay. Tell me how you got to that way, and tell me. This is not a trick. I'm not here to debate college kids. I'm here to try to teach. If someone debates me, I'll debate back. But
I mean, it's kind of just what aligns with my morals. I'm myself. I'm a queer person. And I know that you have a lot of stuff that you wouldn't agree with.
Can anybody tell me what that means in the comments, being
to
queer?
Debate the topics and not just fight. So
I totally agree. Can I ask a dumb question?
Yeah.
When I grew up, calling someone queer was like a slur. Can you tell me what that means? I mean that sincerely.
Reminds me of when I was playing the Xbox.
Lesbian or bisexual or gay.
So it can be different for everyone because gender, sexuality, it's a spectrum just like anything else. And for me personally, I like everyone.
No, but what does queer mean, though?
Queer, it's just a label.
What does the label mean?
It's different for everyone.
Okay. No, I know, but that doesn't.
I hear people going, "Oh my God."
No, I just want I want a definition. I mean, I'm not trying to put you as a trap, though. I mean this because when I grew up, if I called somebody queer, I would get in trouble. Just give me like a working definition.
Yeah, so queer is just something that you identify as with your sexuality. It can be related to gender too.
Right, but how do you know once you achieve queer? Like what is the, like, can you give me saying that anybody can be it doesn't tell me what that thing is. That makes sense though? Like, it'd be like saying you become an adult when you feel like you're an adult. I mean, you have to say that there is an objective.
I'm glad that everyone's having so much fun.
Well, they're
with
laughing
this.
because I'm trying to glean like what it means.
Yeah.
Because when someone says queer, that doesn't tell me anything.
Yeah, so that's what a debate is for. For
Debate back.
Thank you. So, it's literally just a identity.
Right. Okay. But right. But like
whatever that means. But
identity?
okay.
For example.
Yeah. What is that
I was to say I'm
identity?
a conservative. Let me give an example.
Yeah.
A conservative is someone who believes in small government, strong borders, American exceptionalism, the Constitution. How would you then give a definition of queer that someone looking at could say, oh, that is queer? Like, connect the dots.
So, I'm gay, right?
Okay, no, that's good. So,
Yeah.
so what's the difference then, gay and queer?
The whole point of it is that it has a different definition for everyone.
No, I know, but what is the difference then of gay and queer?
Next person.
No! I get more questions, right?
Yeah, sure.
When did I say I was good at it?
No, guys, I'm not trying. I mean this because I think that in society, just so you know my perspective,
So,
they're not
what,
chanting at you, just so you know.
No, I have a real question.
Okay.
I have a real question. What are your favorite policies that you want implemented from Trump?
Oh, I could probably think of a few. For example, closing the borders, making it to where we could mine our own fossil fuels, not relying on other countries for their supplies, being more self-sufficient as a nation, things like that. Taking men out of women's sports, making it to where it's the state's choice to choose whether or not abortions are illegal. A few other things too, they just escape me at the moment. But let's see what Charlie Kirk had to say.
I think we should drill our natural resources to bring down the price of oil and natural gas. I think we should broker peace between Russia and Ukraine. I think we should try to end the Israeli war as quickly and as humanely possible. I believe we should secure the southern border, cut taxes for middle-income earners, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, no men and women's sports. Those are just some of the policies off the top of my head.
Yeah, so I agree that taxes should be lowered because the taxes are extremely high, especially here. And I know you brought up earlier that it's way more expensive now to have housing than it was even like a couple years ago. And I think it's super important to talk about that.
And we all know whose fault that was.
It's really impossible for especially college students to be expected to have housing after they graduate.
So, totally agree. So why is it that when Trump was president, an average house you could get at $75,000 combined income a year, now it's $130,000 a year? Why is that?
So I will say that I don't agree with everything that Kamala Harris stands for, and I'm not that knowledgeable about it. That's why I'm having the debate so I can learn. But I also don't agree with Trump. So
On what though? What?
I just don't.
Can you give me?
Yeah, boo me!
I'm not.
Boo!
No, guys, don't. No, please.
Yes!
Don't boo.
Thank
Don't
you,
boo.
guys.
Please don't boo. What's your name?
Taylor.
Taylor, thank you for coming up. Can you give me 2 things that you don't agree with Trump on, or would you like me to try to win you over for Trump?
So you're not going to be able to do that, but I appreciate it.
Well, then you're not open-minded.
Well, first of all,
If you say that there's nothing you can then hear to be won over for Trump, then you got to give me a good reason, at least 2, why you don't like Trump.
he's racist. Yup, boo me. Thank you, guys.
Okay, so let me ask you a dumb question.
Uh-huh.
Can you define what does it mean to be racist?
Do you want me to look up a definition?
No, I want you to. You said he's a racist, so you must have a definition of racism in your mind. Tell me what that definition is.
Hatred and
Okay,
prejudice against
so-
another race. That's what it is to me.
Make you guys wait on this. Ooh, zero knowledge.
Guys, please don't heckle. I want to try to understand because these words have a lot of meaning.
Yeah.
But you can't get. I know it's hard on the spot. I just want you to think about it because if you say Trump is a racist, you should be able to easily give a definition of what that word means.
So it's hatred towards another race, right?
So when has he ever exhibited that? Give me clear and specific examples.
You got one? Well,
I mean, I certainly
I
can't.
heard someone say he told.
You say you are liberal,
Yeah,
right? And you say you lean to the left.
yeah.
Are you open-minded to have your mind changed on your core political principles
On my core political principles,
or
if
philosophical?
If it's a fact, then sure.
Cool. So can I give you a fact I want you to think about? Kamala Harris, as she's been in charge of the border, we have 320,000 missing children right now in this country that were all sex trafficked or labor trafficked across the southern border. Do you agree that that should probably get more attention?
I think any type of issue like that should get attention.
Have you heard about that before me mentioning it?
Not really. Like I said, I don't really know that much.
No, but hold on. But you knew enough to say Trump was a racist. Why do you think you don't know that there's 320,000 missing kids in America? Why is that?
It's not really presented in the media. The media is so focused right now on the battle between conservative and liberal.
But isn't
And-
that a core part of the battle?
Okay,
the
that
liberal
part
vice
she
president
does
has allowed
kind of have a
320,000
point.
kids to go missing?
So how has she allowed that exactly?
That's a good question. She's in charge of the border. She has stopped DNA testing at the border. So if a kid comes to the border, 12 years old, and someone says, I'm their father, there's no DNA rapid test and it takes 90 seconds to make sure that's actually the father. Most times it's a pimp that is selling the girl into sex slavery in the interior of the United States. Kamala Harris specifically got rid of that policy.
You know, that's something I really like about Charlie Kirk. Whenever he debates or has a conversation with somebody, he does his best to keep it professional, even when he disagrees with them on something. He even has a lot of facts on hand ready to go, and he encourages his opponent, or the person he's engaging with, to bring up facts of their own. And as for that purple-haired liberal, I am actually quite surprised to see how calm she kept herself during this conversation. Most of them, as we know, would just scream and throw tantrums just like they would in their car while recording a video.
Maybe we can talk about it later.
And there are a lot of flaws in this liberal lady's thought process, but I've pretty much stated them throughout most of this interaction and this commentary. One main thing I really want to focus on, however, is the fact that she could not name a single flaw about Donald Trump without using lamestream media's influence. In other words, secondhand knowledge, as we all know. Now, look, I'm sure I'm not the first to admit that Trump and the Make America Great Again movement does have a few weaknesses. Namely, Donald Trump's hubris. I mean, how can you blame him? The guy turned $1 million into $7 billion. I'd say that's definitely something to be proud of. But it causes him to look extremely unprofessional during debates. I mean, take a look at what happened in the 2016 and 2020 debates. In multiple instances, he interrupted his opponents, albeit they were awesome when he did it. Like the one time when he told Hillary Clinton that she'd be in jail after she stated that nobody with the temperament of Donald Trump can be president.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
Honestly, that part just, it never gets old. And as far as this particular weakness goes, I will have to do some more research on this, and maybe you guys can help me out in the comments down below, but Donald Trump at one point also claimed that he wanted to give cops in America blanket immunity. And I highly doubt that it's exactly what lamestream media is claiming that it is, considering that they lie about everything when it comes to him. But assuming it were actually true, that would mean cops would be able to get away with breaking the law on the job no matter what that law is. Even though they kind of already do that when it comes to, you know, qualified immunity. There, that's it. Those are literally the only flaws I can think of with him. That's it. Especially considering that he has a proven track record as a president between 2017 and 2021. During that time frame, gas prices were at an all-time low, averaging $1.89 across the USA per gallon. Grocery prices were lower, the border was a lot more secure, we weren't involved in any sort of foreign wars. In fact, almost no foreign wars were started when Donald Trump was president, mainly because he used our incredible military power to show other nations that we mean business. I mean, it's the reason why North Korea stopped threatening nukes against us. Along with so many other things, and then we have another president, Joe Biden, who did the exact opposite. But perhaps I'm getting off topic on that. I happen to feel very passionately about the president that I'm voting for. No matter the case, the whole point of this video was that it would be extremely nice if every liberal was like this with conservatives, where they would debate with them but have a peaceful debate, albeit bringing some facts with them. But aside from that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I sincerely hope the rest of you enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe if you did, hit the thumbs up button and notification bell, and share this with your friends, and let us know in the comments. Can you find any flaws with Donald Trump that I personally have not stated? And could you maybe give me some corrections on him wanting to give cops blanket immunity? All that being said, make sure to keep observing from a common sense perspective.